So the focus for today is on solving for x in equations involving fractions. So every time you have equations involving fractions, you must know that we hate the fractions. And our aim here is to destroy the fractions. The question is, how do we destroy the fractions? By multiplying every term in the equation by the LCD. But before we can find the lowest common denominator, we have to write down the restrictions first. So the question is, what are restrictions? Well, restrictions are the values of x for which the whole equation is undefined. Now, the easiest source of undefined is when the denominator is 0. In other words, what are the values of x that will make sure that the denominator is 0? Well, for the first term, if you take the denominator and equate it to 0, you realize that x equals -2. If you take -2 and substitute it here, the answer is 0. 3 divided by 0 is undefined. So this means x cannot be -2. That's the first restriction. The second restriction, x cannot be 4. Because when x is 4, well, it's now 5 divided by 0, which is undefined. Awesome. Now that we know our restrictions, we can go on and find the LCD. So here we understand that the denominator of 2 is 1. And in this case, the LCD will be a product of these 3 denominators. So it means our LCD will just be x plus 2 multiplied by x minus 4. So now that we have it, then we multiply every term by the LCD. So you take the LCD and divide it by 1, not by itself, by 1. Then you multiply it by the first term, which is 3 over x plus 2. You can put it in brackets if you like. Then you say plus. You take x plus 2x minus 4. You divide it by 1. Then you multiply it by 5 over x minus 4. Then you say equals. You take the LCD. You divide it by 1. Then you times it by 2 over 1. This is what you have. Now, from this point, what is going to happen? Or rather, what is the aim of doing this? It's so that this one and this one can cancel out. This one and this one will cancel out. But on the right-hand side, we have nothing canceling the other. Now, in its simplest form, for the first term, you'll be left with x minus 4 multiplied by 3. So you can say 3 into x minus 4. Then you say plus. You come to the second term. You are left with x plus 2 multiplied by 5. So you can say it's 5 into x plus 2. Then you say equals to, well, here you have the whole thing multiplied by 2. So you'll say 2 into x plus 2, x minus 4, like that. Then you come for the first term and you distribute your 3. So when you do, you get 3x minus 12. Then you say plus. You distribute your 5. So you get 5x plus 10. Then you say equals. You keep your 2 for now. you apply the FOIL method. Do you see that? Because you have two terms in each bracket. So x by x, you get x squared. X by -4, -4x. 2 by x, you get 2x. 2 by -4, you get -8. You go to your left-hand side, you collect your like terms. 3x plus 5x, it's 8x. -12 plus 10, it's -2. You go to your right-hand side, you collect your like terms as well. X squared goes alone. -4x plus 2x, it's -2x. The -8 will still be alone. Then you distribute your 2. So 2 times x squared, you get 2x squared. 2 times 2x, you get 4x. And 2 times -8, you get -16. Well, here you still have your 8x minus 2, like that. So let's make some space up here. So the aim of finding the restrictions is so that in your solutions, if you get the same value as a restriction, then you can exclude it. Yeah, I think this should be enough. What do you say? Right. Then let's take everything to the right-hand side so that we are left with 0 on the left. We'll still have 2x squared here. The 8x, when it gets to the right, it becomes negative. -4x minus 8x, it's -12x. Then -2, when it gets to the right, it becomes positive. -16 plus 2, it's going to be -14. Then from this point, we realize that 2 is the highest common factor. So we take it out. If we take it out, we are left with x squared minus 6x minus 7. Then the whole thing is equal to 0. Then we divide both sides by 2. And then we factorize x squared minus 6x minus 7. So we say factors of x squared, it's x and x. Factors of 7, such that if we add or subtract, we have to get 6. Well, it can only be 7 and 1. So we know that the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. And we know that if the last term is negative, the two factors must be opposite in signs. So this means x will be -1 or x will be +7. And then you are happy. So these are your two very nice values of x. So remember, we have fractions. We hate fractions in equations. We must get rid of them. Fine. Let's try another question, because you have to understand this stuff. It's very important. So this one is slightly different. There's something you have to do before finding the LCD. So let's show you. Let's say, for instance, they give you something like x plus 2 divided by x squared minus 3x minus 4. And then you say this is equal to 3 divided by x minus 4. Then you say minus, you have 1 over 2 plus 2x, like that. So before you can find your LCD and before you can find your restrictions, you have to make sure that these two are factorized. Always, you make sure that your denominator is factorized. All the terms in your denominators, or rather all your denominators must be factorized. So let's go to the one on the left-hand side. Even if the numerator is not factorized, the point is not to factorize the numerator, but the denominator, because it will affect your LCD if you don't factorize it. Fine. So the term in the denominator here is a trinomial, not just a trinomial, but a quadratic trinomial. So how do we factorize? By opening two brackets. Factors of x squared is x and x. What are factors of 4? That add up to 3. It can't be 2 and 2. It can only be 4 and 1. The bigger number takes the sign of the middle term, and this one has to be positive. Then you say minus, you have 1 over. Well, here we see that 2 is the highest common factor, so we take it out. And I'm going to start with a variable, then I say plus 1. Well, 1 plus x is the same as x plus 1, but I prefer writing it this way. So now that you have said this, it's only now you can state your restrictions. So what are your restrictions in this case? Well, here you can see that x cannot be equal to -1, and also x cannot be equal to 4. Those are the values of x that will make sure that the denominator is 0, and the whole thing becomes undefined as a result. Fine stuff. So now that we have stated our restrictions, we can see that we have x minus 4 here. We have x plus 1 there. We have 2 here. And we have x minus 4, x plus 1. So the LCD is not going to be x minus 4, x plus 1. But instead, it's going to be multiplied by 2. Do you see that? You can't say your LCD will be x minus 4, x plus 1 times x minus 4 times 2 into x plus 1. No, you can't say that. So the one that is already existing, we take it once. Do you see that? So we say this one multiplied by that. It's going to be our LCD. So we tell them that the lowest common denominator is 2 into x plus 1, x minus 4. And always write your restrictions as well as your LCD. You never know where the marks are. Right. And in any case, there's a special instruction in your question paper. It says, show all your workings. Very important. So it tells you you shouldn't skip a step. Right. Now that we know our LCD, then we take our LCD, divide it by 1, multiply it by the first term. So the first term is x plus 2, and this is divided by x minus 4, x plus 1, like that. Then you say this is equal to LCD over 1 multiplied by 3 over x minus 4, like that. And then you say minus LCD over 1. And this is multiplied by the last term. I'm running out of space. Sorry about that. Fine stuff. Then after this point, we can see that these ones will cancel out. The whole of this will cancel the whole of that. X minus 4 will cancel that. And in the last term, x plus 2 will cancel another x plus 2 there. So the question is, what are we left with then? Well, we are left with 2 into x plus 2. And this is equal to what? 2 times 3 will just give us a 6. So you have 6 into x plus 1. Then you say minus. After the x plus 1's cancel out, we are left with 2 into x minus 4 for this one. Then at this point, we have to distribute. So 2 times x, we get 2x plus 4. Then here we get 6x plus 6. Then you say minus 2x plus 8. On your left-hand side, you have 2x plus 4. What about on the right? 6x minus 2x, you get 4x. And then you say 6 plus 8. It's just going to be 14. So let's take the whole thing up here. We are changing the battleground, right, or rather battlefield. So from this point, we can choose to take the 2x to the right so that it becomes negative. So 4x minus 2x will just be 2x. Then we take 14 to the left, it becomes negative. 4 minus 14 will just be negative 10. From this point, we divide both sides by 2. We can do that because we are doing maths. So it means your x will just be negative 5. Do you see that? Yes. And then you should be happy and done with this question. LCD restrictions, then you take care of everyone. So if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And also please subscribe to our channel so that it grows, so that you motivate us guys to make more and more videos for you. But thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helps a lot.